8th verse. So here we are reading that portion where Shukadev is describing that Yudhishthira raised the question about Prahlada, the story of Prahlada, and then he wanted what is called the Bhagavata Dharma. What is the Dharma of the eternal religion? Everyone following what should be the practice. And then he talked about that Narada then responding to that question. Narada, he said that I salute first, O the Supreme Being who is birthless. Verse number 1, 5, we read that Lord God, I salute him. And then I shall expound him, the eternal religion of man. And I will renounce, how shall I describe? As I have heard from Lord Narayana himself. So when he incarnated himself, and then and the powerful Hari, the supreme embodiment of all divinities, is the source of all dharma. God itself is the source of dharma. Why dharma? Dharmic life, adharmic life, we say. Auspicious life, inauspicious life. Why? It's all to love God and to be centered, is all centered around Lord God, Narayana or Hari. The worshipful Hari, who is the supreme embodiment of all divinities, is the source of all dharma. Also, what has given out of men of spirituality, illumination, it is all authority is God himself. So by the practice of this dharma, one can attain peace. That's why Bhagavad Dharma, or called the eternal dharma, is this, how to attain peace, perfect peace. Now, the practice, what is the Bhagavad Dharma? The practice of the following 33 virtues and disciplines is common dharma of mankind. It is called Bhagavad Dharma or eternal dharma. It is applicable for anyone and everyone in the world. It's a common dharma, whether you are in a household or you are in a monastic life, or you become established in life, in politics, in everywhere. This dharma should be followed. What are these dharmas? It's a long list. If all list, you will forget the list 30 number also. What are those? But one, if we follow, all will come in life if one can really love God. If one loves God and moves towards God, mind becomes pure, all these characteristics will be manifested in that life. So he says that, Narada says, the practice of the following 30 virtues and disciplines is common dharma of mankind that brings on man the grace of the Supreme Divine. If they follow these principles, then God's grace dawns. And what are these? First is truth, satyam, daya, compassion, tapaha, austerity, then shaucham, purity, titiksha, forbearance, shamu, titiksha, ahimsa, brahmacharya, sama, dama, tyaga, discrimination, control of the mind, control of the senses, avoidance of infliction of pain on others, continence, charity, scriptural study, integrity of life, contentment, service of the holy man, gradual withdrawal from the works and rituals, which is selfish motives. So if we take any one point, then we can discuss how difficult to follow. Remember truthful, one word, truthful, one word, discriminating, always analyzing the truth and untruth, being austere. She's saying control of the senses, control of the mind, avoid avoidance of infliction of pain on others, charity, and to read the scriptures and understand its meaning, containment to keep the peace in mind, service of holy men, gradual withdrawal from works. What type of work? Work or rituals. Even people do puja and rituals. For what purpose? Maybe motivation, maybe selfish end. I want to reach heaven. I want to be rich person at the cost of others. No, no selfish motivation. That type of service. So withdrawal from action or ritual practice with selfish motivation. That means unselfish, to be unselfish. Preponderance to meet failures of plans and face disappointment. No? We try to do some work and we fail, and then we get frustrated. But prepare your mind, be strong. Even failure comes, I don't care. I did my best. So that is the character. That's the character. Avoidance of too much speech. That means those who are chattering all the time, energy goes away in that way and they do not know what they are talking about. That's it. When you restrict your, that's the control, what to say, how much to say. When they say, their words become valuable. A person who speaks very little, people listen to what he's saying. So this is a practice. So he's saying universal rules to follow. So avoidance of too much speech, self-criticism. See whether I am, what is going on with me, where I am lacking in my principle of spirituality or principle of ethical life, moral life, or our selfless life. So always to be self-critical. Holy Mother said, try to find your own fault, my child, not to see fault with others. We have enough thing here to focus there. Giving food to others, other living beings, according as they deserve. So, do you have your personal thing you have? So help others, poor people who are hungry, who are not having sufficient needs are not satisfied. Seeing the Lord in all beings, very high idea. To treat everyone in what respect, seeing God is there in them. So that whole life it takes to take any of the ideal. If you take, you'll find that all the other ideals are coming manifesting. If one thinks I'll be unselfish, I'll think of others first, me second. That is the core of spirituality. All other things will come around. When this little self is not pampered, rather big S we want to go, that is kept into the mind, and that's called spirituality. And that expands the heart, that it purifies the heart. And selfishness contracts. And Swami Vivekananda in Karma Yoga have repeatedly said this one point. Spirituality, sign of spirituality, unselfish, how much you are thinking of others, how much you are thinking of the suffering of others, needs of others, rather than my need. So the whole world, look at that. The whole world, so much turmoil is because of what? I need, my need, I. Not thinking of others, not thinking of what is going to happen. If your this brutal statements or your actions, how much it is affecting other people. Think of that. Be careful about that. You are inflicting suffering in others. So that is the unselfish, unselfish. Swamiji, that's why he said, unselfishness is God itself. Selfishness is actually is the whole negative thing comes to those people who only become selfish. In society, in a home, your family, you look at that everywhere, selfishness. Two brothers fight each other. How? For selfishness, no? I want to have this share of my father. And they go get into litigation, land, litigation. Well, it goes on and on and on. Huh? See, that's why it is said that when one wants to join in our order, nowadays our headquarters say that you just give away before joining, give away your property and everything to your brothers or sisters. Finish. Because when time will come, then you will be pulled into it. Your share, this share, and you get into entanglement into that. So this all centered around selfishness. So so many 30 points they are talking about. Any you read scriptural study, they have said. You read scriptures and really read the scripture means you try to apply in your life what you read. What will happen? All the lower tendencies, characteristics, you cannot hold on to them. That will be scripture reading will change the character of the person. Unselfishness will come, truthfulness. Scripture, all the scriptures say, be truthful, be loving, be caring, take care of others. So much is there suffering in the world. Try to take a little bit of the suffering and make the world happy. So that the you suffer gives joy to others. So all these things come in any of these teachings or the practices. Seeing Lord in all beings. If this value comes, how much you will think for others. Seeing Lord in others. God is my Ishtam is here. My Ishtam is in this form. So if one can think, then consideration comes, love comes, respect comes. So one thing done properly brings all the higher qualities together. Special perception of divinity in man. God is everywhere, but in man, God's divinity is more manifested. And the practice of the highest way of life resorted to by devoted men, consisting in hearing, hymning, remembrance, worship, salutation, dedication to all actions, friendship, and complete surrender, all done with reference to the Supreme Being. This is the one last important practice of the highest way of life. How? By thinking of God, by chanting God's name, remembering His name, worshipping Him into every action, every pranam, every respect issue, it is thinking that I'm saluting God, Lord. And then dedication of all action, whatever we are doing, surrendering to God. And all the relationship we set in the world, it is with God, and then surrender completely. This is all dedicated like that. These are the characteristics of 30 characteristics. So, what we understand that take any of this ideal, 30 points they have given. One cannot every day make a 30-point list and tick mark 5%, 1%, 2%, 90%. No? How much you are successful if you make a chart every day, all these 30 points chart, and before you go to bed, we tick mark how much unselfish, how much seeing God in others, and this whole day, how much I am successful. 1 to 10, like that. People can do that and can improve. But if we cannot do so much, but at least one can do one practice, one of the practices that will bring all benefits of all other good. characters. Now, duties and livelihood of Varna. Varna and Ashrama. They are the two words. Varna means four Varnas. Varna means color. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are the Varnas. And ashramas, four ashramas, Brahmacharya, Garastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So these four. So what is called the Varnas? Four Brahmin. And India is dominated by this. It has been turned into now we call caste system. So what is the caste? So that is they're describing here. Being born in any family does not mean that you are a Brahmin because your father was Brahmin. See, father was very devoted, son is totally opposite. It happens in the society we see everywhere. You are a Kshatriya, but you have no tendency of fighting or shouting or howling like that. You may be a Brahmin. A Brahmin is born behaving like that, of other characteristics of that particular that birth. So it is called Brahmin. Who are Brahmin? Dija. His name Dija means D means two, jaw means birth. Twice born. They are called Brahmins. Dija, they are twice born, is a person for whom all the 16 purificatory rites have been done without a break from the time of conception, and who is designated by that name in the Veda. What is that? From this, it is to be understood that it is not mere birth that makes one member of the Vedic Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Sudra. It is performance of the sanskaras or purificatory rites that makes one so. How much purification one has done, that is called the Brahmin. How much less. The rites are meant to make the body and mind of the individual fit for grasping and practicing higher ideas. The rites and rituals are done for what? People go to take a bath in the Ganga, chant the mantra, go to the shrine, meditate. For what? Purification. What the purification? It is the purification of the mind. What the result of purification? That mind will be able to conceive the higher values of life. If you say the same thing among 100 people in the middle of 100 people, that say Swami Vivekananda speaking, he spoke everywhere. Someone listening to that, their life is changed in one stroke. This mind is fit. He was waiting for that message and he got it. Someone maybe 2 times, 3 times attracted, intellectually attracted. Wow, what he's speaking. That's another attraction. One less purified mind. One gets, Swami Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna, in one stroke, they get locked. And he had the highest vision almost. Mind is ready. So rituals already done in other life or something, not in this life, but already done. So he was so much ready to accept it. But there are also Ramakrishna's room, other disciples came. Their intensity we find little different. There came also Calcutta Babus who could not find joy in the presence of Ramakrishna. They are asking his friend, how long will you listen here? Can you come out? Let us go to the garden, to see the garden. That means Ramakrishna's God himself full of love, is giving his vast message. Mind is not ready to grasp. So that's why rites and rituals are necessary. Observance of fasting, going to seclusion with little concentration of mind. So people can try that way. It is all necessary only for purification of the mind, to make the mind ready to grasp the spiritual truth. So that's why he says the rites and are meant to make the body and mind of the individual fit for grasping, and then not grasping only intellectual, but practicing high ideals. As the sanskaras have been either given up or reduced to an apology for them, Varna has disappeared as an organized and distinguishable social form. Modern caste system of India should never be identified with the Varna system, in which man's gunas or constituent nature and karma work are the clue of the Varna. So that means guna karma vibhagasa. Bhagavan in the Gita says, I have divided the whole society in 4 classes: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Chatur Varnang Maya Srishtan, Guna Karma Vibhagasa. According to their guna means the qualities, capacity to receive the higher knowledge, and karma, and how they apply in their daily day-to-day action. So I have divided them from on this perspective. So here, that's why it is said the Brahmin, but the caste system has gradually in time everything declines. They forgot the guna and karma. A Brahmin son have the Brahminic guna or quality. Brahminic quality, if he has, we call him Brahmin. But Brahmin's son, he may be of different tendency. You should not tell him Brahmin. He may be good in performing action, righteous action. To that path, his purification will happen. So someone may be good in business line. Some have been, their tendency is their nature. They can do good business, have good deals. His intellect is such, he can make good deals. So he is called a Vaishya. And Shudra, who is strong, he does not want high philosophy. He cannot take war fighting with others, but to serve and this physical level, it's called the construction and other things who can do, or agriculture, people doing. They are simple people. They have simple faith. So that is their guna that make them. This is classified. Every society is classified like that. In every society, intellectual group here in America, see class system. You see, someone is a professor. We respect him differently. He's a high intellectual. He's a philosopher, professor. They are called Brahmins. Boston is called the Brahmin of America. Because all intellectual people, scholarly people, they are in a level, a university, school, college level people, they are called the Brahmin people, because they find their activities and earning and everything on intellectual and the thought of philosophy of life, ultimate purpose of life, etc.
But Brahmin doesn't mean only scholarly. Brahmin means that
Brahmajanati.
Because the
that is the ultimate.
Thakur said that scholarly people are like vultures. So,
but in the Brahmin, there is a gradation. As a Brahmin student and actually Brahminhood. See, you enter into a school, it is called grade school. That means you enter as a grade 1 and come out 6 is all grade school, or middle school 6 to middle school means he may be in the starting point, he may be in the outing point. So Brahmin is the outing point to check Brahma Jnana. In point to say he is born with his qualities and his tendencies. His tendency will be, he will prefer rather to be absorbed in studying something and finding some mental, intellectual level. Someone is, and that person is put to action, go and till the ground. It will be too much for him, and it is not his gunas. So he may be another person. That's why Swami Vivekananda made a formula. Each is great in his own place. He said that you to give a talk, ask Swami Vivekananda. Talk is talk. Ask a cobbler to give a talk. It will be a big deal for him. No? Now you ask as the professor to go and do the shoemaking. Ask him to do. He will be a total failure. The construction people, when they are building big structure, the engineers are doing the plan. I see the people who are working on that. Can I do that? Can a college professor can do? Can a Nobel laureate can go and do that work? It doesn't. Yes, he is great in his own place, but he is also great in his own place. That's why Swami Vivekananda reconciled this, that it is not by action or it is there what done with spirit, what spirit you are doing. If that leads you to liberation and freedom, then that is called the right path. And each is great in his own place. Swami Vivekananda's best statement. Now, on all the twice born Brahmins who are pure by birth and work, and he is born with the tendency and pure in their understanding about God, love for God, and all this, is enjoying the duty of performing jagnas. That's this type of capable people have been engaged in giving, performing the home of fire, studying of the Vedas, and giving the gifts as also the duties pertaining to the asramas called brahmacharya, that all they belong to that for the timing. So if a Brahmin boy, you will find that he is very happy in chanting the mantras, his tendency. His children, if you put together, maybe 20 children you put together, you can see how each one's tendency is different. One is, say, children's play, no? Someone is liking their toys, the guns and this and that. Someone is very fond of engines and connection, building screwing out like that. Someone is very much happy with the animals and so tendency is so much in the group. These are called the tendency. Accordingly, you can judge he is a Brahmin tendency or Kshatriya tendency. Someone will be very fond of fighting from the childhood. Nobody has taught them, but tendency is pushing them from within. So that is called that innate tendency. That way, work should go on, not because one is born in the family of a Shudra, say the so-called construction people. They can build up a big structure, no? But the son is not interested in it. He may be a philosopher. So he will belong to the Brahmin quality.
Sri Ramakrishna had the story that king's son, that prince, with some other children of his age, suddenly said that let's play washerman.
In India, washermen, they clean the cloth not in the machine, washing machine. They put in the soap and then strike it on a piece of plank or stone like that, hitting again and again and again. So he said, the Ramakrishna story goes on. He was a boy, prince. He was a prince. But he said, let us go on playing washerman's play. And so one of them, the king probably, the prince became the stuff, the piece of wood, and then someone took the cloth to heat it like that over it. So you see, being a prince, he is thinking that he prefers that type of, that means previous life he was maybe washerman. The tendency comes from the previous life. So that, and if you help that person in that line of tendency, suppose Paul, if he is given to singing, how happy he will be. But if he asks to do some chore work,
That's fun.
eh,
That's enjoyable.
less enjoyable job, then you see he will be angry, he will be frustrated. But if you give his choicest thing, every one of us, it is easy for a person.
But then what I like, you feed me more that one, then how can I come out of that? That samskara is getting more
No,
and
that-
more
that-
and more.
it- that
I have to come out of that. So
but-
something opposite I should do.
No, you do that work and think that you are doing for God. But
That's how you do what you do.
all you are doing is you are helping the intensity. You have to learn not to give up your own tendency and to learn something new tendency to adapt in yourself. Rather, your tendency remaining the same, you just direct towards God. Bas, that's called the spirituality. And then everyone becomes Brahmin because everything dedicated to God. The quality of the Shudra is no more Shudra because he's performing the duty, having skill, tendency. Is easy for, as I gave the easy example. Suppose you have studied your physics in PhD. So if you ask me to study physics now, oh my God, it will be I'll be devastated. But I am reading this Vedanta for few years. If you ask me Vedanta, I'll be very easy. I can at least talk something about some Vedantic truth. No? But if you ask me now come, you ask me about how the astronomical satellite and other things are moving. Tell me that science. I do not know anything. Someone will come say, okay, tell me about your how the brain neurons are working. This and I may be saying a few words, but it is not easy for me. So what will be easy with my tendency if they give something that will be directed towards God. But also our Vedanta says don't make any distinction. Whether it is intellectual work, whether it is physical work, whether it is study, whether it is puja, all directed towards God will make you perfected. So that is the conclusion. But how the caste system prevail in this society, that is the tendency indicates that person, not the Brahmin's father. My father was Brahmin, I am not a Brahmin. If unless it is the tendency and action, it manifests in my action.
Is Varna and Swadharma the same thing?
Sadharma, yeah. Sadharmam api chavekso. Bhagavan says, Arjun to Arjun, hey Arjun, look at your own Swadharma. You are born with this tendency. You are born in your childhood, you played with the arrows and bows, wrestling and boxing. And Brahmin boy will do that. He will start the chanting and Upanishad chanting with the master, no? And they're getting up in the morning. And Brahmin boys, even Orthodox Brahmin, that's why that is our order also maintains that you get up in the morning, take a shower, then go. What you do is all Brahmin. You go and some people read some mantras or some holy books to uplift their mind, and then they come for meditation. It's a Brahminic quality you are adopting. That is the Brahmins used to do. But I have no tendency of this, and I am put into this monastic life. That is not a successful path. You will be much better developed in the tendency, where the tendency is there. Already you have the bent. We call it bent of mind. And use that bent of mind, only give it to God. But this force activity, tendency plus action, two things will guide the nature of the person. That's why Brahmin will be doing the jagna and he will be studying of the Vedas. Study, you go even now Orthodox places in those who are Brahmin boys, they read the Rig Veda, Jajur Veda, Sama Veda, etc. And even these priests who come here, look at them. Actually, you tell, just go to Malibu temple and ask the Malibu temple Brahmin, okay, so let us go. to lift this stone in the top of this building. Or if he says, okay, have you read Vedas? And chant one. And you see, he'll continually go on chanting, smiling, he will go on chanting the whole Vedas. Because he has memorized in the early days. Tendency is there, not the other tendency. So action, what type of action? It characterizes his samskaras. So he says that the Brahmin boys will be enjoined in the duty of performing the home of fire, studying the Vedas, chanting the Vedas mantras, and they will be giving gifts away. Brahmin qualities giving knowledge and wisdom and gift, and the other dharma. So a Brahmin has 6 duties. What is the duty of a Brahmin boy? Study of the Vedas. And not only study, teaching it. Adhyana, adhapana. Adhyana means nije study, you study yourself. And also you teach others. Performing sacrifices, all these rituals of offering oblation in the fire, or in early days there were other types of sacrifices. You know what the mantra to be chanted, how it is to be done. Officiating at sacrifices, you are the what is called the Tantra Dharaka. Officiating means he who observes your puja is done rightly, or you're mistaking, or he can guide you. Giving charity and receiving gifts from those whose earnings are righteous. They will not take gift from anyone who is earning money or giving some gift in an unethical earning. They don't touch that money. Ramakrishna could not touch anything. Ramakrishna's father was so pious, he will die even, but not take which is not earned properly, pure earning, honest earning. The duties of the Kshatriya. What are the duties of a Kshatriya? All these things will remain, these 4. That's why Kshatriyas can be Brahmin. That's why we hear the Janaka is a Kshatriya, the king, but he is not a Brahman. He knows the rituals and rites. He knows the Vedic mantras. He can recite. He can teach the Vedic knowledge, etc. So Kshatriyas will include all these except receiving gifts. His chief duty, because he is a man who can earn money. Brahmins don't earn money, so they will not receive gifts of anyone and everyone, unless very honest and pious people. That's why Brahmins were always poor people in India. Even now, those who are still in that profession, they're the poorest people. Because they don't get any money, there is no earning. People give after that with love and respect something. That is their eating, that is their household. His chief duty, however, is the governance of the country. Kshatriya will govern the country and protection of the people who are suffering, who are in need, he will give protection. In the discharge of this work, he can collect taxes from all excepting the Brahmanas. The Kshatriya should not tax the Brahmins. He may put some taxation to make a capital for this purpose of serving the Brahmin as also his own community. That will form his livelihood, not for greed, not for accumulation, not for hoarding, but for livelihood. So they will maintain in this way that in times of danger, he can also adopt teaching and officiating as priest as a means of livelihood. This is how ancient time Brahmins used to live or Kshatriyas used to live. Those glimpses are given. Where is this system now? It is only we have simplified it very much. You do anything for God, but you are Brahmin. The Vaishya's profession is agriculture and trade, business, the transaction, business. And he is to live in obedience to the Brahmins. how he'll do business, not unethical business, not stealing, not cheating. So it will be guided by the Brahmins. The duty of the Sudra is the service under the twice born, and his livelihood is to be consist of the income he gets from his master by his service. So Sudras will be doing for others and they will pay some money, and by that they will survive. A Brahmana's livelihood is to be got from the following four occupations, the succeeding ones being superior to the preceding ones. What? These are agriculture, cow keeping, unsought income, and material sought as alms, collection of grains and foodstuffs fallen in the fields and bazaar, shopping places. In early days, sale of grains in the rice, paddy, etc. So these are agriculture. Brahmana's livelihood is to be got from the following four occupations. Those people are in occupation like that. They can collect from the agriculture people. Those who are keeping cows and maintaining from them, unsought income. He is not asking, but they give out of love. Materials sought as alms, something they give material things. Brahmins, clothing. That's when that tradition has come. The Brahmins are performing puja and all the offerings to the mother, all the clothings, food, or whatever is offered to mother, they take it as prasad of mother. Even now it is customary. Brahmins get the things which is offered to the puja. In normal times, a man of lower order should not take up the work of a man of the higher order. The Kshatriya is an exception, as he can take the duty of another except receiving gifts. So he can do both. Kshatriya can be working like that of a Brahmin also. In times of danger, anyone can take up any means of livelihood. When in times of danger, there is no rule that Brahmin should be behaving like this formula is not applicable. Anyone can do any other profession with honesty. In times of danger, one can earn one's livelihood by Rita or Amrita. These are all technical terms. Rita or Amrita, by Mrita or Promrita, or by Sattamritya, but never by Savritti, or the canine means of livelihood. Meaning, Rita is food made by collections of fallen grains from the fields. In early days, when they used to cut the grains, the ripe grains will fall in the ground. So that is Rita means, it is you take, not harm anyone, just collect those grains and maintain your livelihood. Amrita is what is got without begging. Amrita means that is the best food. Amrita is what got without begging. Good, big, honest people, they will be sitting in one place. People out of their love will bring food to them. That is the Amrita food. And then Mrita means consists of what is obtained every day as an alms. The wandering monks, they go to different places and get some food. That the Bhagavat is saying, that is their Mrita type of food. The technical term. Promrita is the proceeds of agriculture. You sell your agricultural thing and get some money. That is the Promrita. Sattamrita is the income from trade. We do some business and get some. So these are the different types of earning money. Canine livelihood or sobriety is the service of mean persons of low origin and abominable ways. A Brahman and a Kshatriya should avoid such questionable way of living, for a Brahmana is that repository of the whole Veda and Kshatriya of all divinities. The mental traits of a Brahmana are restraint of the mind and the senses. So, what is the main tendency of a Brahmin who one should search for? That Brahmin will be restraint of his mind and senses. That means control, self-control, and they have austerity, they have mental contentment, they have patience, their mind will be absence of crookedness, knowledge of God, kindness, devotion to God and truth. So many qualities should be there. They are called Brahmins. A Kshatriya is characterized, who is Kshatriya? He is characterized by heroism, valor, fortitude, impressiveness, spirit of sacrifice, self-control, patience, devotion to holy men, optimistic attitude, and readiness to offer protection to the weak. That will be the characteristic. Ideal Brahmin, ideal Kshatriya. These are the tendency. You need not have to force him. He will be doing these things. If someone is suffering, he will jump into it, and at the cost of his own harm even, he will protect others. So these are
Bhagavata Dharma.
Eh?
Bhagavata Dharma. The structure of Bhagavata Dharma.
It is, yeah. These are called Bhagavata Dharma. According to Bhagavata, the dharma of all the four classes of people. And devotion to devas, teachers, and Achyuta, God. Effort for fulfillment of duty and securing of wealth and pleasure. Faith in God and the Vedas, perseverance under all circumstances, and professional skill. These are the characteristics of Vaishya. Business class people should be just not skillful in business mind, but this devotion, he will be a devoted person. That's why you see all the business people in India, they are very spiritual people. I do not know spiritual, but at least charitable. Very charitable. They keep their whole income, certain percentage of their income for temple service, for the service of the poor people. Even these two, they call Marwadis in India. Marwadis business, they have good business principles, but they earn money, but also they do serve. Even they go to up to this point, there is one service, it's called Khatbal Khilao. Khatbal is Charpoka in English. Yay! What is the English translation of Charpoka? Bug. Mosquito bug. Like or that sucks the blood. What is that bug's name?
Bed bug.
Leech.
Leech.
Bed bug.
Bed bug. So they used to keep poor people, healthy people, like Khatbal Khilao. It will be full of bed bugs. And they will give some poor person or anyone to serve. There is God in the bed bugs to feed them. Feed them what? So one person will have to lie down for 1 hour to have the bed bugs, and they will get some money. It goes up to that far. Meaning, I am serving the bed bugs, but what happening to the man, I don't care. But I give $5 or $10 for that. That's what.
Charity also. So they are doing charity to the poor person by $10 and well-wisher of the bed bugs.
So I'm saying they're even thinking, and they give their 1/10 of their, you see, the Swaminarayan temple, you go, yeah, they're all the followers and devotees, they have their principle. They will give some, but they're business people. And they give their earning, total earning, certain percentage. It is a must. They'll give for their Lord, for God, for temple, for poor people, feeding. Even in Himalayas, you go, all the sadhus who feed them, most of the business class people, Marwaris, People look upon them and criticize them, but the whole community of monastic community, almost 90% of this, they are satras. They call satra, where you give the food, charity for the sadhus. And they all, these people pay that money, appoint some cook, appoint some place where they will cook and keep. Even Himalayas in Uttarkasi, in Rishikesh, you go to these places even now, so they get this, all this service. So they think it is our duty to feed. You earn money, give it to them. So they are devoted to the gods and devas, and their fulfillment of the duty and securing of wealth and pleasure, faith in God and the Vedas, the perseverance under all circumstances, professional skills. These are the characteristics of a business person, Vaishya. A Sudra. Who is Sudra? Sudra is the working person. What is his nature? Trait. The Sudra's trait will be humility, purity, straightforwardness. They are very simple people. They earn little thing to sustain themselves, physical work, but they should be pure in the sense they are not crooked. Ideal, we are talking about ideal Sudra, ideal Brahmin, ideal Kshatriya. Straightforwardness, service to his master. They are very honest. They will do their whatever the money they get, they give service to their master. Fivefold sacrifice without utterance of mantras, but accompanied by prostration only, avoidance of theft and misappropriation, truth and care of brahmanas and cows. So they maintain the brahmins and the cows by service. They are the service idea. Like Ramakrishna was in Dakshineshwar, the sweeper, Mathur, he was belonging in a lower caste, no? But he is doing his duty, serving him. Without a sweeper, how the society will run? Suppose we're in a country where there is no sweeper, there is no builder, there is no construction engine people. How this a society needs all those people of different tendencies, and all the tendencies are the people can realize God. But the Hindu ideal of eternal, everywhere they say they should be pure. In whatever profession, you are honest, you are straightforward, you are devoted to God, you have faith in the Lord's grace, no? And of course Brahmin's quality is so much higher requirements are there. Kshatriyas will be another. So we did them. Okay, so now there are duties devoted to wives. Pious wife will do like that, always be devoted this, that. I don't read because it's no more valid for modern day. then the wife's duty, it will be that husband's duty should be mentioned. But they don't mention husband's duty. They use for more wife's duties. Oh, honest, you should be serving, you should be knowing this, you should be doing that, you should be following or in every path. He follows like that. A devoted wife should decorate herself well, clean and plaster the house, burnish the utensils, put floral and powder designs in front of the houses. We do that floral design. India is, even if we go now, we find no in villages, their entrance point there will be beautiful floral design. So they learn from the childhood. So those are the characteristics, and they will be main thing that they will be very loyal to the family to keep peace and thinking husband is God. Then I would say that the wife should not only think, husband also should have to think. The wife is God, no? And respect, reciprocation. Anyhow, livelihood of others. The livelihood allowed for mixed castes outside the four varnas. and those living beyond the pale of civilization is determined by the practices of their families and tribes. Suppose some belong to the tribes, tribal formulas are there. Well, this category includes all communities except those who are given to antisocial ways of life like robbery and commission of heinous sins. Now, it says Swadharma and man's evolution. O king, so Narada is saying ultimately, O king, who knows the Veda well, have declared that all in Yugas, for welfare of this life and in the life hereafter, the pursuit of Swadharma, one's own duty, determined by the proportion of the quality of Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas in him. It's a conclusive few verses that one is considered the one's how much proportion of sattvika quality or rajasa quality or tamasa quality that constitute the society. One who follows the duties dictated by one's own natural disposition, swabhava, that's very important. That makes it easy. You are a musician, you can reach God through music very easily. You have a puja tendency, with puja you can reach God. You are a construction engineer, you can think I'm building for God. You can do swabhava in that, not to destroy your tendency to rebuild as in our system, in our it has been distorted. So in India it would happen very common that a son has no tendency to learn, go for engineering, and he learns philosophy, but the parents will say, no, you read that, you have to study that because that will bring more money. So that your tendency is to be destroyed. That's a not easy path. So he says that Swabhava, the one who follows the duties dictated by one's own natural disposition, will be free from the bondage of those actions and will gradually reach the state of freedom from all gunas. Then jnana and bhakti will be generated in him. This is a very important conclusion. You need not have to be a Brahmin, born in Brahmin, but you can have the Brahminic quality and you Sattika quality and your tendency, follow that and move on. You have a Rajasa tendency, use that, and through that you go for freedom. In this respect, man is like a field repeatedly plowed and cultivated until it reaches a stage of absolute infertility when it becomes unfit for the growth of any crop. Seeds sown there perish. So in this respect, man is like a field. So and repeatedly it is plowed and cultivated and it until it reaches a stage, this body will no more be functional anymore for worldly thing. It becomes purified. In this way, the mind, which is the seat of desire, can gain this passion through excessive enjoyment. Such enjoyment does not enhance desire, unlike drops of ghee enhancing a fire. If in members born in a certain Varna, the qualities pertaining to another Varna are seen, they, the former, are to be classed as belonging to the latter Varna. So, not born in that family, but the qualities they are integrating in their life, they should be classified as Brahmin. If the Brahminic quality, if it's a Kshatriya quality. That's why in our order, this Ramakrishna order, have broken this barrier of Varna. Brahmin, Kshatriya, the definition has been changed. So in our order, Brahminic dharma is, as I said just now, we read, he will be getting in the morning and going for ablution, and chant the God's name, meditate on them. All these are the qualities of a Brahmin. So if anyone is inclined, they can join in one place. They are called the new Brahminic tradition, new monastic tradition. That's why Swami Vivekananda was rejected by the conventional, traditional Brahmins, the sannyasis. They asked, hey, are you a Brahmin? No, I will say, no. Hey, you become a monk? Who is your guru? No, we take sannyasa by ourselves, putting the feet of Paduka of Ramakrishna. You have taken, you are not considered to be sadhu. So he is rejected. Swamiji was rejected by traditional sannyasis in Himalayas. But a new religion, it is not a new religion, it is the eternal religion, that's why you are reading. It is called the eternal religion because it is breaking that norm and bringing back to the old idea that your quality, your tendency indicates your action, and tendency indicate which class you belong. You may be born anywhere, any family, but your tendency is Brahminic tendency, Kshatriya tendency, Vaishya and Shudra. But any tendency you are born, there is a way it can lead to the same goal. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panamastu. So 7:30 we'll have our class for Sheta Upanishad. Thank you all. Jai Ma.
Maharaj, all the great spiritual reformers like Buddha and Swamiji and Krishnaji, they're all Kshatriyas.
Kshatriya.
So as a Kshatriya comes to spiritual